over the past few months, maybe year, every Sunday, there is a group of Muslims that will show up at the Notre Dame Basilica in Montreal, which is one of the oldest church in Canada. It is beautiful. If you ever have a chance to go in Montreal, go check out that church. It is absolutely stunning. But they are showing up to the parking right next to it, and with speakers, microphones, and they are praying. We all know what it means. We all know that it's a show of force. We know exactly what that means. While this next woman by the name of Mandana Javan, she organized the protest yesterday. But what's interesting about her is that she is from Iran. So she knows firsthand what those type of force mean. And she's here to explain to us exactly why she did it. And at the end of the day, why does she care? What is going on? How you doing?
How are you? I'm
Hey,
doing
how's it
well.
going?
Nice
Very
seeing you
good, very
again.
nice. Yeah,
Yeah, it's
yeah.
great to see you.
Hi, how are you?
Great to have you on.
So why? So we met yesterday. We spoke for a good 10 minutes. You seem to really understand what's going on in Canada because you guys in Iran have been dealing with it for a long time.
Yeah.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but the protest that you organized yesterday was kind of a wake-up call to the Quebec people to say, or even Canadians to say, be careful what you wish for, because I know what comes next.
Exactly. Since 46 years, Iran is suffering from a theological state, but in the name of republic, and we can see, I think, every Iranian here in the West, not just in Quebec or not just in Canada, we can detect the same signs that coming here little by little, but it's very constant. And we see that the intensity is getting higher and higher with years, specifically since October 2023. I think that this conflict in the Middle East gives some opportunities to these Islamist groups in order to impose these kinds of evangelist, proselytist practices in public spaces. And what was so shocking for us, our people, we are some Iranians, we are very activist, and we are organizing manifestations, protests since 2 years and a half, at least twice per month for Women Life Freedom Movement. But what motivated us to organize this event? Because first of all, we saw how the police officers, they treated a women journalist over there, and how she was beaten. And after she was arrested because she's doing her job, taking pictures and videos from the people that choose, instead of doing their prayers in their mosque or in their private spaces, they're doing in the front of Basilica, they're doing in our streets, everywhere, all over the city. And she was doing her job, and it was devastating for us because we can distinguish the signs. And this silence of politicians, of authorities, and of Quebecer peoples are people. This silence is very terrifying for us. The other thing that was very clear, it's that they are doing the Islamic prayers, collective prayers, which is in any holy book in Islam that you study, you're going to see the collective public prayers is the political means to impose, even to the Muslims who are not who are not practicing Islam. This is something. This is like a terrifying tool that they are using, and they are doing this in front of this historic, this identity, cultural identity place for Quebecers. And they are doing this not on Fridays. because we know that the saint day in Islam is Friday and it's not Sundays, but they're doing this on Sunday afternoon. You know, this is completely for us, for I think for any Muslim, for anyone from Muslim culture, it's clear that it's a kind of call to a war. You know, intimidation, humiliation, and imposing without having maybe a military war. But this is like, it works like this here. You know what I mean? And the city, Valerie Plante, she's doing nothing. And we just find out last week that actually there are some rules in the city that don't let these people normally to do that. But look, authorities, they don't apply rules. They are not reinforcing these rules. And this is really terrifying. We don't know where we are going to go with this tendency since 2 years in our CEGEP, in our schools, in our universities. It's very bad, you know.
Out of curiosity, I just want to make sure that we're on the same page. I think the woman you're referring to is Alexa Lavoie, right? Is that the one? Is that the woman that got arrested?
No, Alexa, she was filming Natasha Graham. Alexa Lavoie, she filmed another journalist, and it was her who reflected the video, shared the video everywhere on the social medias. But the journalist who was beaten by the police, her name is Natasha Graham, and unfortunately I know that even SPVM is suing her. You know how it's expensive and how it's troubling for a woman, for a journalist. She's just doing her job. She's not an aggressive woman, and she's a mom, and it's just devastating for me to imagine what's going on in this file. And authorities, they have authority, you know, they can do whatever they want with people.
This just happened a few days ago, right? What you're referring to?
No, I think it was in May, maybe. Yeah.
Okay, so I know the one you're talking about then. Okay.
Yeah. But just for clarification, this happened in, like, when you were talking about a female journalist being beaten by police, I'd assumed you were talking about back in Iran. This is happening here in Canada. Wow.
That's it. That's it. That's why we are terrifying. And actually, yesterday, one of our speakers, he had a very touching speech telling that he is homosexual and he's seeing these things, and it's like deja vu for us. You know, it's exactly like deja vu, because even our TV, our medias, our everything is just the same pattern that we saw in Iran. That's why terrifying, you know, how everything is going in a very specific ideologic direction and censorship, and that's it. It's really it's worrying, you know.
Well, yeah, very much so.
Just so you know, I'm playing the video right now of what you're talking about. I don't know if you can see. Yeah, and this is exactly where you were yesterday. That's right in front of the Notre Dame church there.
Exactly.
Face first. The woman looks like she weighs 125 pounds.
Yeah. Wow, just mass in her face.
First.
Concrete. Oh, that's wild.
Yep.
And
you know.
Yeah. And the worst
go ahead, Natasha.
Yeah, and the worst thing that these Islamist people, while these police officers are doing this, they are shouting and yelling Allahu Akbar.
All right, which is obviously
this is the call of
we all know the connotation. Yes, yeah.
This connotation is the call for jihad.
It's not just God is great, right? In this context, there's a lot more to it.
Absolutely not. It is a very, very strong symbol You know, if you see all these videos of Al Qaeda, of Daesh, just before beheading anyone, they say Allahu Akbar. Just before any terrorist attack, they are shouting Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Why? The philosophy is because apparently the violence or killing someone is giving some kinds of joy to the person. And they are telling Allahu Akbar to remember that this joyful moment comes from the force of God, because God is greater. And for me, this is terrible that the police officers are treating these women in this way, and they are showing their joy, and it's kind of, I'm grateful that God's doing this. And you see, this journalist, she's doing this because they choose to do their prayers in a public space, you know, and in front of Basilica. But if you see other videos of their prayers in general in Montreal, you will see that they try to cover the people who are doing this with flags, or they don't let anyone to film or to take pictures. And if you ask them why they are doing that, they're gonna tell you, because we want to keep our intimacy. Because you know what? But if you want to keep your intimacy, go and do your prayer in your mosque or in your houses. What you're doing here? Because this collective public prayer is one of the first steps of jihad, of Islamic colonization. You know? For me, it's not just a question, because it's sure that it was symbolically, it was very strong that they are coming to do their Islamic prayers on Sunday afternoon in front of Basilica, because they try to create a kind of inter-religional conflicts in the society.
It's a show of force. It's a show of force.
Yeah,
plain and simple. It's a show of force. It's dominance. 100%.
That's it. Because
they're saying we're here, and there's nothing you can do to stop us. And they're right. So far,
and at one point, in French, we call it le bras de fer, in the sense that
iron arm.
Iron arm, in the sense that if you can now stop us, if you are the true Christians, okay, now we are insulting your place, then come to the war to us, you know. And this was a very strong symbolic gesture from them. It was not every week, because unfortunately I saw how much this journal Le Devoir can be mean. This morning I saw that they twisted everything in their article. But anyway, they go there regularly, not every single Sunday, but regularly they went there. We are going to see if they will continue to be there in the following weeks. But our problem is not just Basilica. Our problem is the Islamist praying, Islamic collective or individual prayers in our public spaces. That's what 100%. We don't want. That's 100%. The final point, you know, and that's why we were there. And that's why all those Muslims yesterday, you know, Quebecers from Muslim countries, they talked and they had speeches that this is science. And believe us, if they start to have the poverty in our universities, CEGEPs, in our unions, this is terrible.
Yeah, no, and I think it's, you know, everything you're saying is things me and Nico have been saying when we covered this issue for months now, is that this isn't really about prayer. It's an act of dominance. It's a show of force. And I just think it's so helpful to have people sort of like yourself who, I'm not sure what your personal beliefs are, but who come from Muslim countries, because I'm sure you know enough about the politics here in Canada. If me or Nico or any white guy says about, they'll just say, "Oh, you're racist. You're racist. That's why you're Islamophobic." They'll say, and of course it's bullshit, but it is effective. And so I think I love to see someone like yourself actually organizing this, because then, it will cause some people to sort of listen. And I've been hearing this myself. A lot of either Muslims or people from Muslim countries who have said, listen, this is what I came here to Canada for. I'm telling you, this does not end well. This is what, Montreal has a huge Lebanese population. I was just going to say that in Montreal, and they went through all the steps, right? So, I mean, people, I can't say how happy I am to see you speaking up, and I'm really, I really appreciate everything that you're doing. Is this going to be a regular thing for you? Are you guys going to do this every Sunday, or what's going forward? How does that look?
Yes, I think maybe personally I would like to take 2 weeks of vacation, but I think people everywhere, even I received some messages from other regions in Quebec in general that I didn't know that they have these kinds of things going on in their regions too. And that you see, unfortunately, nothing is reflected by our traditional journalism, and this is kind of betraying our nation, definitely. And I think this movement, this is a democratic civic movement. It doesn't depend to our team, our 4 or 5 person who organized this the first time. And I think now we just put the right words on these actions, who can inspire others, probably and hopefully. And this movement will continue, I'm sure, and I will be there as much as I can. I think even other Iranians, Algerians, Kabul people, or other Arabs, like Arabs, like people. I have many friends from Lebanon, from Syria, Iraqian, that they have the same. Even Indians, Hindus in India, in Bangladesh, they are living horror stories since last summer from all these Islamist attacks. There are many other originally different Canadians or Quebecers who can be motivated in this act. It's not just a question of white Quebecers, it's not a question of being racist. It's just us. We lived the Islamist ideology in our countries, and we don't want to see this happening here.
You're saying that mainstream media is not going to report on this. Well, we do. That's why we do what we do, because because exactly for that reason, because mainstream won't cover it. But as I told you yesterday, you have my number now. You have my phone number. Put me on top of your list of keep me aware of what you guys are doing. Let me know how I can help, because that's something that I had proposed to Rob, that I would organize something like that. And when I saw it, one of our followers sent me that link, I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna have to go there. So keep me in mind for whatever comes next. I want to be involved, and we'll figure out a way how to give you exposure online, because as you said, mainstream media is not going to cover it, but we talk about this stuff every week, if not every second day. We talk about this, so definitely keep me up to date.
I really appreciate all these alternative medias, because since we are doing these activities, it's all the time this alternative medias like your media who are doing and who are diffusing this news for the people. And this is a reality. If the mainstream medias, they don't do their job, it's sure that people, they are turning more and more toward alternative media.
100%.
For the next week, I know that they will be at Place des Armes, and even I got some calls last night from some Quebecers who told me that they are going to be there. I think this will be something that people is going to get bigger and bigger every week. And we are going to see after the opening of the Assemblée Nationale if the government is going to do something with this Islamist prayers. We are not talking about any prayer. We don't want to, that they are taking care of other stuffs. We just want a law to for this Islamic prayers in our streets. That's what we want, and as soon as possible. It will be 2 years that we are living this almost 4 days per week everywhere in our streets in downtown Montreal.
Thank you for doing what you do.
Thank you so much for being here, Mandana.
Keep me up to date. We'll bring you back on when you have something new or a new protest that you're organizing. And personally, keep me in touch because I definitely want to help you grow this.
Yeah,
thank
absolutely.
you. Thank you very much.
Thanks
you.
so much.
Have a good day. Bye.
Bye.